game. Time to play the game!
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Toe Knows Everything podcast. It is a special TFC Roundtable edition, and I'm pleased to say that Mr. Mario PILEGGI is back in the house after a few absences. You know, it's the millennial fatherhood. He's got to take care of those kids, doing a good job, doing his duty. We got NIKO here, and we got Dante back together to discuss TFC and what has been going on at BMO Field. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening with the TFC lineup as of late. We got Altidore back in the lineup. We're going to talk a little bit about goaltending, and we're going to see what's going to happen this Wednesday when TFC plays DC United and Wayne Rooney. So guys, what do you think of that game against Philadelphia? What do you think, Mario?
It was complete garbage. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of anything that happened. The only person that completely impressed me that game was Westberg. He didn't play on the line like Bono did. He actually stepped up. He actually supported the defense. Bradley doesn't have to drop back. Simon doesn't always have to drop back always to the back line. You got to have the goalie push out. He actually helped the defense that game. I wish that they would have given him a win because they actually deserved it for him that game.
Absolutely. I got to agree with you. I do think that he played much better this game, a little more confidence, played it safe, but that's what they need at times. So I do agree with you. He does have a better sense of where his players are on the field, and he sees the field and the pitch in a way that Bono unfortunately doesn't. So for me, I think he's the starting goalie right now. Would you agree, NIKO?
His ball delivery is much better.
Much better.
I don't know if Bono knows how to kick a ball properly anymore. Westberg, his ball delivery is on point. He had a few plays where he played with the ball a little bit too much for my liking. You know, when your heart stops for a second because you got a striker running on him and he's trying to deke him out, get rid of the ball. That's one of my pet peeves in soccer. But you know what? He did it successfully, so you can't complain.
It worked for him.
It worked.
Yeah,
it worked.
it
Some
work.
goalies it works, but when that one play doesn't work and they score because of it, you look bad, man. But right now, Westberg's the starter. Bono's riding pine.
Absolutely, and I think Philadelphia obviously has one of the best records in terms of scoring. He did get tested several times, and he did come out with some pretty good saves. I have to say, I think there were 2 or 3 serious potential chances for Philadelphia, and he really showed up, and he made a difference. So I do think he is definitely the starting goalie. Dante, what do you think about goaltending in TFC?
Well, first of all, I mean, the goaling, clearly Westberg's the guy for now. Obviously, we need better, but my biggest concern, guys, is this defense. And I'm telling you, man, the way Philly, especially even that second goal, guys, like Savaletta's not tracking back. The guy just runs right around him and then boom, slots it in the corner. Like with him and Simon there, like guys, there's nothing here.
But in defense to Simon, right? In my opinion, I really do believe that he has the maturity factor there. He can mentor. They're not playing his game. That back line is not playing the way that he expects defense to play. He doesn't have anybody.
But the thing is, they're not in cohesion. Like they're not in sync. We're not thinking together. Like
absolutely, it's not a unit. You can even see with Mavinga. I think on the first goal he went into challenge, completely misread it. The defense is definitely not aligned, and I think guys like who I do think Mavinga is a good player, but again, they are not working collaboratively as a unit, and that is the problem. They can't read each other.
Like Simon, like I love his game as a person, but the players he's around, it just doesn't fit the mold. Like when he's playing with Belgium, he's a completely different player.
But he's European. The problem is that you have to face facts. Their style of play is too technical. Look at Pozuelo. They encourage these South American players, the Italian players, to be creative, screw up, do things, have a good time. They've started from a youth academy, and they're all being raised up. These guys are thinking too much. They don't know what the next move is because they're thinking technical and they're not thinking creatively, and that's why there's no continuity between your defense, your midfield, and your forward.
That's a good point, but that comes from the coaching staff.
Sure.
At the end of the day, I don't want to blame the players because the players are doing what the coaching staff is telling them to do. And if they're overthinking, it's because they're not being given the confidence and the liberty to go out there and play the way they should be playing. So once again, it goes back to the argument. Is Vanny the right guy for the job? And obviously we know he performed in the past. He won us a cup. But is he the right guy for this team? as we move forward in 2019?
Still yes. I mean, he hasn't done well because you got to think about it. You know what? Look at the players that are playing right now. Not much different from when we won a cup. You know what? Your coaching tactics don't differ that much.
Jovinko's not on the team. Yeah. It's very different.
You're right. We have someone better this year than Jovinko and Pozuelo on the team.
I don't believe it.
He is better.
Do you think he's a better technical player?
Yes.
Is he a better technical player?
He is better on the field. Having Pozuelo on the field this year versus Jovinko on the field this year, Pozuelo's better. Hands down.
Is that a stats fact?
Both.
Numbers?
It's stats and the eye test.
We're going to see what happens next year after this league figures him out. They've already figured out a couple of his cheeky moves right now. They're already doubling up on him. If you see him in the box, he's already dropping back.
He's getting frustrated.
And he's getting frustrated because he has nobody to play with.
Yeah.
Look at Oral Jr., my favorite new TFC player. You see him on that
hurt
pitch.
that game.
He got hurt.
He
got hurt.
That's how they scored the goal.
First goal was also Auro's fault.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, you know what? They were playing a man down.
NIKO.
They got caught, and then Philadelphia scored.
Sure. NIKO, you have to call a spade a spade. Oro is playing completely different than last year.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, when Boyd was here, he even said he wanted the ball in the box. Oro's now coming into the box because he wants a shot on goal. He's not that guy that's crossing in anymore. Maro's the only person that's doing it. You have Osorio and Delgado who can't do anything in the middle. So who's Pozuelo supposed to play with? Only him and Josie?
No,
that's not good enough.
It's a big formation, Aaron. I'm not saying Vanny doesn't need to shape up and fix his formation, but right now you can't be calling for Vanny out when the team is still in a playoff spot with 2 games in hand on almost everyone in the division. If they win those 2 games, they're in second place. You can't fire the coach in that scenario.
So now we're waiting until, what's the date? July 7th? I have to check my for the next transfer window.
Yep.
Right? So by
Well,
July
they missed
7th,
this one when they're talking about the transfer window. They picked up no one.
Nobody.
They said they were window shopping. They were in Italy. They were shopping around. I know there was a lot of talk of
in
them.
South America.
Right. They were all over the map. They picked up no one. Was that a wise move?
Terrible move. Terrible.
Horrible.
Like, I know NIKO brought up the standings here, but guys, right now we're looking horrendous. Like horrendous. We're on a 2-game losing streak, probably on the verge of 3. I don't think we're beating DC. I'm not going to lie.
Well, we'll see what happens
That's
on
going to be a
Wednesday
statement
night.
game,
Yeah.
Dante.
Yeah.
It's going to be a statement game.
I'm not gonna lie. Did I want someone to come in the transfer window? Yes. Am I happy we didn't spend money just for the sake of bringing in a player?
Right.
Yes, we had our targets. Omar Gonzalez, Lucas Janssen coming back. We couldn't get either of them. Instead of fumbling
There were a lot
on
of
the last
rumors
day,
about bringing Robin in as well.
I heard that was debunked right away.
Yeah.
That was out there. It was still
it was out there, but
Yeah.
I'd rather them not grab their guys they wanted and then just go and do nothing rather than going, oh crap, we didn't get these guys. Let's go somewhere and find anyone to bring in to make people happy. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money.
They have to get a European, South American player because they need that creativity out there. I was saying this to a few of my friends that follow TFC. Gabe, you know, this one's about you. From our defensive line right to our striker, we don't have continuity. There's no flow. It buckles in the middle. Bradley, in my opinion, is to blame for half of that.
I'm with
because,
you on that.
Agreed.
Because
Yeah,
he can't
totally.
make the play.
Agreed. Listen, you know what the issue is this year, and you just touched upon it. You say, they got to bring in a South American or European. I don't think they got to bring either or. They got to decide: are we playing a South American attacking style of soccer, or are we going to play a European style? And I think you're referring to an Italian system, which is a lot more defensive-minded.
Yes.
Right? They got to pick a system. Right now, there's no clear system. They're bringing in players from Brazil, players from Spain, players from all over the world. There is no alignment. I think that's pretty clear, right? And you can see it. You see it even with Pozuelo. He's looking around. He's not sure. Who am I feeding here? And now this is why he's taking more chances. And he's hitting the target, which is the right thing because he's really got no
100%.
one to work with. Altidore was his guy.
100%.
Altidor's still not 100%. He came on, you saw him.
Yeah.
He didn't look 100% to me, and I guarantee you he's not. When he's back in tip-top shape, he will definitely be getting the ball from Pozuelo. But until then, what do? You see guys like Chapman in there. They just are not at the caliber of a Pozuelo, and you can't work with a guy like that unless you're at his level.
What an embarrassment having Hamilton out there to start the Philly game. It was a complete embarrassment. I was sitting in the sun. I said, "Are you kidding me?
One striker.
This is happening. One striker, and he's your guy."
How many times can we say it on this podcast?
No.
Vanny, 2 strikers.
Right.
If Altidor's out of the lineup, you can't have one guy like a Hamilton standing out there by himself. Look at Altidor's been out now for 3 or 4 games, is it? Yep. How many goals have our strikers brought in because of that? None. Osorio, Chapman, Pozuelo, no goals from the strikers. None.
Can I add to that? Actually, Jay Chapman, when he came into this game against Philly, did you see how all of a sudden we were just pressuring this team? Like, was it just me? But like,
don't tell me you're giving credit to Jay Chapman.
I'm giving a little bit of credit to Jay Chapman.
That's the Canadian Ronaldo right there.
Are you kidding me? Jay Chapman.
We gotta get rid of that guy as quickly as possible.
But he comes in and he makes an impact here. He scores goals. What more do you want from this guy? I don't see Delgado doing anything.
Delgado's.
I think there's 3 or 4 players who should not be starting, and Delgado is definitely one of them.
Yes.
I don't think Chapman should be starting, although he didn't. Right, he came
I agree,
on.
but
he hasn't started
He's
yet.
never started.
I think he deserves something.
Yeah, well, listen, you know what? Maybe he deserves to play in the CPL full time straight from the start, which is okay. I think that's where he belongs, and he should get experience there, and then maybe he can work his way back up to MLS. But MLS should be at a different caliber right now. You got guys like Wayne Rooney playing in the MLS, and then you got a Chapman there. Okay, no disrespect to Chapman, and I think he's a young guy. He's going to develop. He's going to get better, but you can't have Pozuelos, Wayne Rooney's, Altidors, and Chapmans. It doesn't work. Okay, this is the problem with this league. And you know what? If the coach doesn't recognize it, management doesn't recognize it, someone's got to point it out. I don't know if anyone's pointing it out to them.
Sorry to interrupt. Here's where it gets dangerous, though, now when you're talking like that. Because TFC had a guy in their academy coming up, TFC 2, Mark K. They thought he was going nowhere. He was probably going to fall into obscurity. He said to himself, I'm done. Left Toronto FC, signed with LAFC. Now he leads the league in assists. Yeah. We're missing out on talents like this.
Those anomalies happen all the time. They happen. Oh, it happened with the Leafs. If we want to talk about hockey, how many times do guys leave the Leafs and become success stories?
That's the problem. But you got to give these kids their shot just to see if
but
they
you got to give them
have
a chance to develop. They don't develop in the MLS. They should be developing in the USL, in the CPL, in other leagues, and then work their way towards the MLS. It's been a problem with TFC since their inception. There was a kid called Andrea Lombardo who was a fantastic player in the early days. He came over from Italy, played for the Atalanta Primavera, and unfortunately, I put him in as a 19-year-old striker in the MLS. Think about the pressure on this kid, and they actually relied on him to score. You can't do that to these young guys. They are fragile, and you've got to nurture them, cultivate them, develop them, and then when they're ready, you give him a shot.
Well, look what happened to Bono. Just very quickly.
Absolutely. Good point.
He's done.
I'm not going to say he's done. I'm not going to say he's done. I'm not going to say he's done.
I'm going to disagree.
That guy's done.
I'm going to disagree.
That guy's going to show up to play a
Mario,
couple of games.
I'm going to tell you what the problem is. The coaching in this country, and not just this country, I'm going to say the U.S. and Canada together, North America, is subpar. That's the problem. Because if you bring that guy to South America, Europe, somewhere, bring him to Portugal and develop that guy. Bring him to Portugal, bring him to Sporting, bring him to Benfica. They know how to develop players and they sell them for millions of dollars because they've got the proper coaching system. We don't have it in Canada. We're going to fool ourselves if we think we got in the CPL. We're going to fool ourselves if we think we got in the MLS. We don't have it. The homegrown guys don't have it. We got to stick to hockey because that's what we do best. And you know what? Bring the guys who know how to coach from South America, even from China. Bring them from China. Put any Chinese coach. You know why? Because the Italians trained them. That's right.
100%.
Marcello Lippi trained all of them. So there you go.
I disagree that Bono's done. Bono's done in Toronto. Just like Fry. Who remembers Fry when he was in Toronto?
Absolutely.
He was awesome.
Absolutely.
He had an injury.
Look at him now.
Well, he had an injury. He came back. He wasn't himself. TFC said, you know what? This guy isn't the guy anymore. Let's get rid of him. And then he flourished in Seattle. I can see the same thing happen to Bono.
I agree.
We get rid of him. He flourishes somewhere else.
I agree.
It's going to happen, though. I say we get rid of him. We have to.
I agree.
But he's going to flourish.
Absolutely. I agree. Listen, guys, at the end of the day, coaching plays an enormous part in the success of a team. And although I wouldn't get rid of Banny just yet, I do think we're going to give him an opportunity, and they're not getting rid of him till the end of this season.
He's staying to the whole
season.
season.
He's staying throughout the whole season. But I'm going to tell you, there's something lacking in the coaching this year. Okay, there really is. And I think it's a change in attitude. You don't see them to be as motivated as they were in the past.
No.
I think they're all over the map.
No.
Their philosophy and their style of play, again, is disjointed. It is just not it's going to get worse. You know what? People didn't believe me. They said, see, you were bad-mouthing TFC in the beginning. Look at them doing well now. Their record's still okay. Still okay. But it's going to get worse. You mark my words.
Can I just piggyback on that quickly? I don't know if you guys have been noticing this, but people have accused me. I don't like Osorio. I don't like him for our team.
I think he's a good player.
Okay.
I disagree, but you know he's
against the
why
I don't like him.
You know who's ruining him? TFC is ruining him.
I'm going to tell you why I don't like him.
I agree.
He does not deserve to flare his hands up when he screws up a play. He has been selfish. The last few games, he has been a selfish
Because he's a
player.
frustrated player.
It doesn't matter. Get off the field. Get off.
Listen.
You don't deserve to be on that starting lineup if you're not contributing to the positive morale. How many times did Bradley look at him? They may not show it on TSN, but I'm in their stands. And I see how many times Bradley goes up to him and says, hey, what are you doing?
Who do you start instead of Osorio?
We don't have an option right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
why we have
no
to do
choice.
it. I get it. But you do not have the skill set and the ability to do what you do on that field.
So you know what they need to do? You just brought up a good point, Nico. I don't know if you remember when Osorio was first a young and upcoming player, he never started. He'd come on the second half, they'd give him 10, 15 minutes, and slowly he'd get a goal. Right. Slowly he'd get a goal. You know what? At some point, you got to say to your players, you're not performing, you're sitting. When we feel you're ready, you'll get another opportunity. And that's what they need to do. It doesn't matter who you put on. Put on whoever the hell you want. That's your guy, though. You got to nurture and develop Osorio. That guy's got talent. You bring that guy to Europe, and I'm going to tell you, he is going to flourish.
But he should go.
Absolutely.
He wants to.
And I think that should be his main objective. But since he's here, I think he's being coached all wrong. So back to the coaching. Like I said, Nico, I think they are going to keep Vanny till the end of the year, but I think they're going to have to really reevaluate and assess at the end of this year.
I think the chemistry too. I know I sound like a broken record here, but I just think it's not there yet with Osorio. Like, I think when we were hot back in the days with Jovinko and Altidore, like
we made him look good.
Exactly.
It's very
guys.
simple.
He is a good player.
I would disagree that they made him look good because he actually didn't play much. He didn't play much in the cup run.
Fine. We made Bono look good with the 2017 defensive line.
But he didn't play 2017.
We have players on that field that are going to make other players look good.
Of course,
right?
But last year was his breakout year.
Sure.
And we were terrible last year.
So CONCACAF, we didn't make him look good in CONCACAF. I think we made him look like a champ in CONCACAF.
He also was the leading scorer in CONCACAF.
But by who? Javinko made him look good. Josie made him look good. Bradley made him look good.
I'd agree the team as a whole played well.
Yeah, I don't think the team is gelling this
He had a sweet back heel that was all him. Like he played good.
Team is not gelling.
My thing is Osorio isn't in his proper position, and he never will with Pozuelo there or with Vasquez.
That's right.
His position, he likes playing that center attacking middle. I'm with you. Pozuelo for sure. When Vasquez was here, Vasquez for sure over him 1,000%.
He can't handle that.
Nico's 100% right. When Jovinko was here, was Jovinko and Altidore up top, and Osorio played that midfield role.
Yes, of course.
Because Vasquez was hurt last year.
Absolutely. And that worked. With Pozuelo here, he's never going to get that opportunity, and he's going to look worse and worse as each game goes by.
It's like Bradley last year. We needed Bradley to be that center back midfield.
This year too.
Right? And this year, it's fine. But you have to attest the fact that he is taking on a lot more of his role right now because of the fact that Moore hasn't been out there. We have, on paper, probably the best defenseman in all of MLS. I really do believe that. We have a fantastic roster of defensive players, but they're made out of glass. They haven't been able to gel properly.
Absolutely.
It's age, as you referenced before, too.
Moore is done. Great player, phenomenal player, but I definitely think once the injuries start becoming chronic, which they are for Moore, which they are for Altidore, that's another guy who, unfortunately, you know what? We say he's injury prone. He is injury prone.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if he can last for the rest of the season without being injured. I don't think it's going to happen. You'll see another injury shortly with him.
What do you think about Oro now playing this more creative role and being more in the attacking role up top?
I love it, honestly.
Like you're losing out on somebody feeding the ball in.
But that's where I think we can do the 3-5-2, like we mentioned last week, and Oro's on the 5, the right.
Yeah, he's on the flank. He's on opposite flank of Morrow.
Him and Morrow.
Yeah, but then Morrow's stuck running back. Like Morrow's a machine.
It's a lot of running.
One of my favorite.
It's a lot of running.
He's a machine. He goes back and forth like it's nobody's
Exactly.
business. But you know who I would really like to see in a midfield role? Believe it or not, De Leon. I think he could handle himself over there. He has some size, he has some speed, he has some skill set, he can move the ball around. It'd be interesting to see what he could do in the midfield role.
And you know what, on that too, what Auro needs to do, if he's going to stay in that 5 spot, he needs to go back to 2017 and watch Beta Short tape.
Sure.
Because Beitashour was able,
He's killing
to throw the
I
ball.
love Beitashour. I think
player.
that was a bad move.
I agree.
It was a terrible
Guys, the
move.
cross
love
is
that
terrible.
move.
Everything.
Yeah.
He needs to push away. He played
Him
with
and
Morrow.
Morrow
and
were fantastic.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we need
Fantastic.
again because they were able to send the ball and have another guy attack
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
switch back and forth.
Exactly.
They need that again.
But now, when you only have Morrow on the left side or on the right side, being the guy to cross it in, and he's the only one that could do it, one stupid kick that doesn't go his way,
now it's gone.
the possession's already done, and he's already stuck hustling all the way back. Then what?
Yeah, no, you're right.
The guys were gassed. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys. I was there. I watched everything. I was having a very good conversation with a cousin of mine about the game, and I was just saying the guys look tired.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
look gassed.
Listen, they're injury prone. I don't think they've ever recovered from the CONCACAF loss in
No,
Mexico.
no,
I'm
they
telling you,
haven't.
it was downhill.
Yeah.
Since then, they haven't been able to
look
recover.
exhausted.
We got a lot of shit. You remember how many people were hating on us because we were saying this is just going to go bad?
And it did. It absolutely did go bad. And it's not as bad as it's going to get, you mark my words. And not because I want to see bad things for TFC. I want to see good things for TFC. But you can see, if you look at the team and you really take a deep, hard look, they're soft and they're weak. There's tons of weak points.
Holes everywhere.
To attribute to that, the biggest thing I saw in the Philadelphia game, defense, midfield, everything. The biggest thing I saw was shoot the damn ball.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, how many times were they in the box?
But
How many
again,
times in the box?
going back to
Going-
the coaching, Tony said it. Too technical. You're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Osorio should have scored. He's like, who should I pass it to? What should I
They're
do over
afraid.
here?
Shoot. I
They
think
were
they're afraid.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Everyone on the team was afraid to shoot, it looked like last game. That, and you know what? Everyone always tells me, because I've been giving shit to Michael Bradley all this year and all last year, and people always tell me what he does doesn't get reflected on the score sheet. And to that I say, you're right. He gives the ball away constantly on passes.
What does he do?
He's lazy as hell. He is one of the most talented players in the MLS, don't get me wrong. It just looks like he's unmotivated. And then for like a second, he gets motivated and he makes his gorgeous play and gorgeous through ball up. And then he just stops the rest of the game.
Guys, we have
Trade
to
him,
score
send
on a
him
free
to
kick.
LAFC, and see what happens to him. That guy's going to reignite his career. The problem is being in Toronto. That's the problem.
And being
Same
on a
thing with
designated
Osorio.
player salary.
You got
Yeah.
it. Absolutely.
You can't pay a CDM designated player money in the MLS league when you have 3 spots to pay.
Ali Curtis has no idea what he's doing right now. Okay, Bill Manning, Ali Curtis, Greg Vanny have no clue. They're staring at themselves in the mirror and saying, what the hell are we supposed to do here? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. There was nobody at that game. I don't give a shit what people say. They came on the announcement.
26,000.
26,000. My ass were there. 26,000. There were 26,000 people
And they're
over
giving
there.
away tons of seats. All those seats that you see in the end zone behind the goal
They're
net,
donated.
they're donated seats. Okay, so there's nobody there. And you know what? Once it starts hitting the pocketbook, like you can already see it in the marketing. If you've seen their marketing lately, all the giveaways, we were talking about it.
Yep.
They never used to give stuff away.
Never.
They'd give the scarf in the kit
The
when you bought your season tickets,
scarf.
and then maybe they'd give you a flag at some point.
Yep.
Beyond that, there was nothing. Now they've got like 7
Every
games
week.
of
Every night.
giveaways.
T-shirt,
You
Cape
got it.
flag,
You got it.
yearbook from the
Yearbook.
last game, fanny pack coming
Fanny
up
pack,
Wednesday.
yeah. Wow.
So you know that the attendance is lacking, and it's going to continue to get worse. And I'll tell you something, like tomorrow night, or Wednesday night, sorry, I'm going to be at the game, because obviously, who do I want to see? Yeah, I want to see Pozuelo, but I really want to see Wayne Rooney.
Of course.
And I think most of the people here in Toronto will be at that game.
That's going to be our most
see
packed
Wayne
game
Rooney.
this year.
Absolutely.
Pending weather. Because even though people
Absolutely.
love Rooney here, it's still soccer.
Yeah, you're
if
right.
it's bad weather, they're not going to fill. But if it's good weather, I'm telling you, my tickets already are illicit because people are paying triple the face value of these tickets to get to this game to see Rooney.
A lot
Yeah,
of Man
and-
U fans here, guys.
And you know that's a real designated player, and I hate to say it. And you know we go back to Pozuelo. You know now he's got the blonde hair. He's trying to do the '90s Ronaldo look from
I don't know
Brazil.
what
I don't know if it's cutting it or what. But, you know,
Mavinga started the trend.
Well, Mavinga started it. Now Pozuelo's on that, so it's like the
there
African
was
South
I think there
American
was a cause for Mavinga,
Spanish
though.
connection.
There was a cause for that.
Was it?
It's like a colors.
Yeah,
No, that was
there's
red.
that-
He did it
there's
red.
that
He did it red, but then he
yeah.
did
Yeah.
blonde.
Yeah, okay.
If you looked in 2017, Mavinga's first game against Atlanta, he had his normal hair and he sucked. The next game, he was blonde and he played great the rest of the year.
Yeah,
So I think
see?
he's thinking this year he needs to go back to that.
Listen, blondes do it better. Everybody knows. Right? Just ask Mario. His last 3 girlfriends were blonde. We won't tell his wife. But anyways, blondes do it better, okay? And at the end of the day, Pozuelo's a great player, but Wayne Rooney's a real designated player. I never heard of Pozuelo until he got here because he played in the Belgian league.
course.
Didn't get the attention. Although I got to say, for the MLS, he's doing fantastic. Set plays, set pieces, phenomenal. The confidence that he displays, the real Spanish confidence. hey, if that's the style of play that we want to play here in TFC, bring more Spanish players. Why are we searching out players in Italy who play a defensive style of soccer? It makes no sense, and that's what I'm getting back to. We do not have a philosophy. We're not on the same page. That's the problem with Vanny. Vanny needs to figure something out, or maybe he's taking direction from management, and he's not permitted to do what he really wants to do. Either way, it's not going to work this season if they continue on this path.
Oh, he's a coach, man. You're supposed to be doing whatever you want.
I know, but when the massage therapist on the bench is the one that's translating the stupid technical play to Pozuelo, he's probably saying, tell that guy to go fly a kite.
Yeah,
Come
absolutely.
on, you have a translator on the field.
You know who I would spend the most money on? The coach.
Why not?
Why do you bring these guys? And I'm not saying Vanny doesn't have experience, but he's got MLS experience, and not to deflate the MLS, but it was never considered a top flight league until recently. It still isn't.
It's still not.
It still isn't.
It's going to be huge, though. We've said this.
Yes.
The MLS is going to be huge.
But it is not today. So you know what? Go spend money on a coach. Bring a real coach, and then we'll see what happens. And
we have
look
the
at
money.
Look at Atlanta.
You got it.
Tata Martino, and then he left.
We have the money. We could afford to do it.
Yeah, MLSC is a bunch of cheapskates, though, man.
At the end of the day, we're not the priority. MLSC does not see Toronto FC as the priority. That's why they should sell it to me and us and a group of people who really care. You need a passionate owner. I know people say that's bullshit, this, that, where you guys get the money. You know what? When you have a passionate owner, that's how you win cups.
Exactly.
And that's how you create
Ottawa Fury, we're coming after you.
Did you
We're
see
going to buy you
TFC's
for
valuation on Forbes, though?
Yeah.
It was like 200 and something million.
Ottawa Fury is worth $3 million.
Right.
We're going to buy Ottawa Fury.
Yeah, listen, you know what? Soccer in Canada.
Julian Guzman, you're fired.
Soccer.
I already sold my first season tickets to Gabe. Gabe,
Soccer in Canada
tickets.
has a lot of potential, but again, it's being mismanaged. The wrong people are running soccer. And you know what? Everyone in Canada is a soccer pro, including me. I say, hey, you know what? I know this. I don't know shit compared to the South Americans and the Italians and the people who have spent their entire lives in the sport, entrenched, really in the trenches. They're the people who know, and those are the people you need to run the team. That's why if I bought the team as an owner, which I think as a financial component, I got the right skills. But do I got the right technical skills? No freaking way. You got to bring the right people. You got to pay. If you don't pay, you don't get quality. And, you know, I was telling a kid today because I was down here and they were running the men's league. And I said, you know what? You play shit, you get paid shit. That's how it works. Because this guy's trying to make a semi-pro team and he's telling me, they're only paying me $50. You're playing shit. You're playing shit soccer. Your quality of play is shit. You're going to get paid shit money. That's the way it works.
Yeah, 100%.
And people, you know, they got to get on board. And TFC, you got to pay. You need the right technical staff. And then you will see results on the pitch because they'll know how to train these players.
But how many more years? Okay, so think about it. This year we're going to make the playoffs. I think we're on path from a point perspective that we're going to make the playoffs. Then what? We go through the first round. Season ticket holders, okay, we're season ticket holders. We're going to have to pay for the entire playoff
We
run.
might not get a game this year because it's the new format. It's only a one game.
Sure. Okay, so
That's
now
right.
we're going to, if we don't get the game, we don't get the game, but we're going to make the playoffs. Then what? Then you're going to blow up the roster? We signed De Leon way too early. That contract extension was a complete mistake. I love the guy. Why did you do that? What was the mentality, Ali Curtis? What was the mentality behind giving him the extension? I don't know.
It doesn't.
He hasn't been producing.
I read something on it where they gave it to him now because we don't have a salary cap. We have a salary budget. Sure. And the way it affects it doesn't affect it too much. It was like, let's just give it to him now.
But why him?
I don't know. I think it's just one of those things that it was no money.
We
It
could
didn't
get
affect
somebody
anything.
in Calabria that pays better than half these people over here, and they'd be paying for citizenship.
Yeah,
okay?
but we don't have the spots, man.
Yeah.
Because De Leon's just a regular spot. We needed an international spot for that.
I would even
I
argue
agree
we
with
don't
you.
make the
I think they should, the MLS needs to reorder their whole thing and stop caring about three designated
I think that's
players.
going to change.
They have
I think
to
that's
change.
gonna
They're talking about
They've been talking about
relegation. They're
changing,
talking
yeah.
about all kinds of
Yeah.
changes,
Has
which
to
I think
change.
at some point that's got to happen
have
for
to.
this league
It's
to
going to
flourish.
happen in this.
It has
By
to.
the time Beckham has his team here, you watch, okay? Because you're going to see how these teams like Toronto FC that have the money, that if they decide to pull the trigger on paying the money, we could have whoever we want.
Well, Beckham's going to bring in his coaches. You can guarantee that.
Yeah, I think
His kids could probably coach the team.
he'll transform the game
Like
and the level
yeah.
of play. I agree because you know what? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, that is a world-class player with world-class experience
exactly.
who's not going to put a half-ass product
I can
on the field
guarantee that.
and attach his name to it.
Yes.
That won't happen.
100%.
Okay, guys, last question, and then we're going to move on. You know, obviously, Wednesday night we got Wayne Rooney here. What's your prediction for the game? We'll start with Mario. What's going to happen? Wayne Rooney versus Pozuelo, the big showdown. What do you see happening?
It's going to be a statement game for TFC. I think they're going to come out really hard. I think we're going to win the game. I don't think it'll be a clean sheet, but I think we're going to walk away with it. Westberg's going to start, and Bono's going to sit.
NIKO?
I'm predicting a rainy night at BMO. It's going to be a sloppy game. It's going to be heavily defended. 1-1, both goals, nothing special. Altidore sits because they don't want to risk his hamstring. We get a goal from Pozuelo. Game ends 1-1. We get lucky, we tied, and we move on to the next game.
Okay, so I'm hoping for a TFC win, but I don't know. Dante, what do you think?
Honestly, guys, we're not winning this game.
What's the score? Give us a score prediction.
No way. Wayne Rooney is going to have a field day on this defense. DC 2-0. I don't think we get a goal.
Wow.
And I think DC is just going to come out. They have the little guy there. What's his name? The one that plays with Rooney. I forget his name. Acosta, yes. Those two up front are going to be magic, and they're going to give us so much problems.
We're hyping up Rooney like he's been doing great this year. He's been average this year. He's cool to see because it's Wayne Rooney, but he hasn't been even a top 10 in the league.
NIKO, it's going to be a statement game.
Think about it. Atlanta revived against us, and Rooney, I'm telling you, they're going to revive big time against us. Like, guys, our defense, like, it's a disaster.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Listen, I'm hoping for the best, Dante. You know what? I want to see TFC win, and my actual prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for TFC. Pozuelo and Altidore. I think Rooney will put on a good show, but at the end of the day, age catches up to you. So Wayne Rooney eating those fish and chips is going to get you in the end, and you know that even though I want to see Rooney do well, his time is starting to appear to have elapsed. And I think, you know what, all great players at some point got to call it a day. Wayne Rooney is almost there, like you said, NIKO.
Undefeated.
You got it. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor right here. Guys, if you need supplements, visit Popeye Supplements in Woodbridge. They are the #1 supplement store in Vaughan. See them for the best prices and selection. You can't beat them. They're our sponsor. We give away prizes every week. Actually, we're giving away this big prize pack. We got a young guy who won this prize pack. He's coming in this week to pick it up. Make sure that you follow us at GTA Sportsplex. Make sure you tag some friends for your chance to win a Popeye Supplement prize pack. We will see you next week. Thank guys for being on the show.
You.
And we will see you next week. Take care.
It's all about the game and how you play it. All about control, and if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can pay it, it's all about pay. And who's gonna make it?